here. It's Freak
Hi,
Out
Whitney.
Friday, and Whitney just showed up right in time. Now I got to move my little thing here. Hold on. Just
Hey, Whitney.
a second.
Hey.
So I don't have the natural progressive in front of anyone's face. Okay, we got that settled. That's all good. Welcome, Whitney. Whitney just popped on. Unfortunately, we didn't see her before. So welcome everybody. It's Freak Out Friday. Oh my God, and I'm freaking out.
TGIF. Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday, but I still have work to do after this. So we're gonna keep it to an hour, and I don't know. I don't know if Sandy's going on, but I don't think so. I think she said she was heading to Florida tomorrow, so I'm not sure. She had a truck incident and all kinds of things. So send out good vibes to Environmental Coffee House Sandy because she's got some shit going on. Let's see. Kent Deal, hello. Anthony Davis is here. Kim Centeno, Blake TV. Let's do this. Cheers, everybody.
The electric
Happy
beard.
Friday, says Blake. I love Blake is so awesome. He helped me so much. I was on his show for just I don't know. After I went on Monday, I went on with him and got 20 new subscribers. I got to 1,000, and then I dropped 6. But then, yeah, then Graham helped me out. Graham Elwood, he helped me out and bumped me back up above 1,000. Pink's here, yay! So yeah, cheers. Electric Beard, eclectic. I always get that wrong. I want to say electric, but it's eclectic. But the man's electric, so he also helped me out so much. Go check out both their channels, Eclectic Beard and Blake TV. Fun, just conversations and a good time. Pink Barrio, we need to get him to the next 1,000. He's getting there. He's really close. He's getting there. So help Pink Barrio get up there to 1,000 as well. We need to stick together and get.
I'm at 248 now.
Oh yes. Well, okay,
Congrats,
definitely.
dude.
Science Talk with Jim Massa. We're gonna work on him, but we're gonna
1/4 of the way there, almost.
I was there 9 months ago, so yeah, we just don't have. I finally said it right. Kim, I always say her name. I always put an R in it for some freaking reason. I don't know.
Well,
Karen,
no, New Englanders, we always stick an R at the end of words anyway. If it's
no, but I put it in the middle of her. Go help awesome people. Gotta go help.
Hey, Sandy.
Yeah, it was awesome talking to you, Electric Spirit. Sandy is here. Yay, Sandy.
Yay.
So you are doing a show at 9 p.m. Okay. All right. So let's see, how many hours is that? Okay, so 9 p.m. the 7 p.m. Mountain, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 wait. Okay. 6 p.m. Yeah, 6 p.m. Pacific. Get it right.
That was perfect. Double feature night again.
Yep. Okay, so anyway, Paul's here too. Paul McGinley. Head in the Box. Go check out that channel. Another great channel.
Hey, bro.
A thumbs down already. What the fuck? I know. There's always haters out there, What do you do? I don't care. Whatever. Cindy Seeley, hello. I don't know. Am I missing anybody to start out with? Kim Deal. Did I say hi to you? I hope so.
I think that's everybody.
I think. Oh wait, no. Yeah, that is okay.
So we had some news this week or today. 2 things in the news: the coronavirus and the bulletin of the atomic scientist. So which one you want to do first? Which one of the bad news? How about we do the bulletin first?
Okay, the 100 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. The
Did you
bulletin.
just do a show on that today, Whitney?
Yes, or yesterday, yeah. That was like the big news.
You did a show on the bulletin of the atomic scientist?
Yeah, we have like 100 seconds left now or something.
Okay, well, I'm going to give some background to it.
I didn't get to watch it yet, but I just saw the notification and I'm like, oh, damn, I've got to watch that. So, Progressive Weather, guys, another.
Yeah, I'm going to catch that but at any rate, the bulletin was started by the actual scientist at Los Alamos who created the atomic bomb. Oppenheimer the top people started the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientist in the late 40s, and one of their wives was a graphic artist, and she created the Doomsday Clock. So she created this Doomsday Clock, and the Bulletin ran throughout the Cold War, moving back and forth 2 minutes, whatever. Lately, just as a kind of a side note, Lawrence Krauss, top physicist at the University of Arizona, well-known atheist, doing shows with Richard Dawkins and such. He was heading the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientist, but unfortunately for Professor Cross, he got Me Too'd. I don't know if any of you knew that. Did you know that, Whitney?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, you know, I guess he was like hitting on some chick, and she took his ass down. So I don't think Professor Cross is not with the Bulletin anymore. But the Bulletin also added this group of people they call the Elders, which has the former governor of California, Jerry Brown, the former president of Ireland, the former UN leader Ban Ki-moon, and this chick who runs, the woman who now is run, I can't think of her name. And they call themselves the Elders. And they did a panel on the announcement of moving the Doomsday Clock from 2 minutes to 100 seconds. 100 seconds. And they are addressing both climate change equally and the threat of nuclear war. And I'm not taking sides here, but it doesn't help to have people like Peter Schiff continually, not Peter Schiff, but that Congressman Schiff in the impeachment hearings continually tweak the Russians' nose and call them our enemies and talk about how bad they are when they have better nuclear weapons than we do.
Yeah.
They got the hypersonic one now.
They got the hypersonic one. They've got a cruise missile that is nuclear powered that they can set off and continually fly it until they decide to strike it. They have underwater nuclear missile. What do you call it? Harpoon. I forget what you call it. They can fire it at the United States underwater. There's no way we can track it and cause tidal waves. They can do all, the Russians are very sophisticated with it. We need to be like Basil Peterson, Demosthenes with the Russians. Why do we?
Basil just showed up. You must have seen him just show up.
When you think about it, Trump pulling out of not only the Iran deal, but the intermediary nuclear deal. That was stupid.
Extremely stupid, because the intermediate missiles, that only gives Russia like 5 or 10 minutes. It's intermediate missiles. They're based in Eastern Europe, and it gives them no time to decide if they come up with stuff on their radar, and they have to decide, is this geese or are we being attacked?
Okay.
Yep.
Eclectic Beard says, and they have spy ships off the coast of South Carolina and Georgia. Is that Russia that has spy ships hanging off our shores? I know we have spy ships off their shores. So, I mean, how many countries is the U.S. in?
100, a lot.
100, I don't know.
Well, there's about 800, depending on how you count it. There's 800 to over 1,000 bases around the planet.
Right. That's
which
more
is
accurate.
Crazy.
More accurate situation.
Yeah, I think we need to just stick more to home. Personally, I'm kind of a.
If you'd have closed down all those,
so
maybe keep like a handful of bases open. Maybe you can save. What was the amount? You can save like close to $1 trillion a year.
Yeah, that's a lot of dough, man.
Think what you can do with $1 trillion a year here in freaking home.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really.
Karen's in corporate hell too. Oh my God, Karen.
And he's referring. They have mentioned that the United States plans on spending $1.8 trillion in the next 30 years to upgrade nuclear weapons. That's a lot of dough there. You can do a lot with that kind of money.
How are you going to pay for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they never asked how you're going to pay for that. Oh, Medicare for all. Oh, that's going to cost too much money. How are you going to pay for Medicare for all? Shut the fuck up. Get rid of the goddamn tax cut, decrease the military budget by 80%.
Yeah.
Everyone talking about 80%. Just go right to frickin' 80%. Take that damn money. As my mom used to say, charity begins at home.
There you go.
Okay. Eclectic Beard says there's no reason to be in those talks when the countries are going to do what they want, regardless of anything. Sovereign nations can agree to things and break them easily. So why don't we just stay, not be in those countries, not be involved? I mean, that's what I would like to do. Why are we wasting all this money, all this time, all these lives?
Yeah,
it's
totally
ridiculous. Agree. So yeah, I'm kind of an isolationist, kind of a protectionist.
Totally.
I don't want. I just don't think we need to get involved in all that. I mean, it's good. There's trouble. There's been trouble in the Middle East since time began, and it's not going to stop just because we have a military base there. The only reason we're there is to get the oil. That's it, or pipelines, or control of that those resources.
We go into other countries because of the resources, but also look at this: the countries that we've invaded or fomented coups in are countries that either had the temerity to not use the petrodollar, or even worse, the audacity to drop the petrodollar.
Yeah, or the audacity just to have oil that's ours under their country.
I mean, Trump just admitted, we went to Syria. We took their oil. It's ours now.
Yeah, we took the oil. We're going to take the oil.
But really, Trump tearing up the Iran deal and then this nuclear deal were two of the most reckless things anyone could do, and has added to why they moved the doomsday clock to where they moved it to.
Exactly,
the
Jim.
Military into a climate crisis response team, Kent Bill. I love you for that. That's great. And Karen agrees. And I mean, I really do think we should use all the military budget to help rewild, help take down. But it's, you know how I am. It's like I want to turn everything back to nature as much as possible. We're an overshoot, and that's a flat fact. We're an overshoot. So as far as our human population, we have outreached. Like we can't live in a local area and survive. We have to depend on trade and all this to feed us. I mean, look at Africa. I mean, they're already starving in Africa. There's so much, and that's not the only country, but Africa's continent. But there's so much.
It's interesting. You should mention that, Christine, because one of the factors that was a deciding factor in why they moved the clock to where they did was overpopulation.
Yes.
Gazar's here. Sorry, Gazar has not been able to make it forever. He's had too many issues. But sorry, I had to interrupt because Gazar is here. He hasn't been here for so long.
Yay.
Sorry.
Okay. So they mentioned that, Jim, what you just said, that overpopulation is a big part of the problem. The elder speech though was a little bit behind the curve. The top people, Governor Jerry Brown, Ban Ki-moon, the former UN head honcho, and then they had the former president of Ireland. Why weren't they doing these things when they were in office? When Jerry Brown was talking about climate change, he was heavy into oil. Getting oil leases, Whitney?
Yeah,
I believe so. He was the governor from like 2010 to just recently 2018, and then he didn't hear much. So he's now like trying to become an Al Gore now.
When I get it. Out of office, he's saying we should do climate change.
Out of office.
Why didn't he do it when he was in office?
Exactly. I mean, that's the golden question.
That is the golden question.
It is. Well, he was too busy selling fracking to give a shit, and now he pretends he gives a shit. I don't understand.
That's what he was actually saying that, Christine. And I give a shit
here,
now.
By the way.
Well, look at Obama. Look how much he opened. Well, how many lands he opened up to fracking?
Barack Obama.
There you go.
That's
a pretty common term used in independent media. Barack Obama.
I mean, just remember, Obama admitted about a year or so ago. He goes, "Well, I'm really a moderate Republican." He admitted that.
He would be in like the UK, like he would be
Yeah.
like a conservative or something in the UK. Like
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he's totally a conservative. Which is fine. I mean,
which means we're so far to the right that our Democratic,
Exactly,
the
Whitney.
corp. Yeah. Okay, you guys know.
You nailed
Oh
it, Whitney.
yeah, you're preaching
Well,
to the choir.
what did Noam Chomsky say about the Republican Party? Basically, they've gone so far to the right they've now become a terrorist organization.
He also, what did he call them? Paul Ryan Savages. I remember his.
Oh God!
But he's not in office.
This is important because I really like the people who aren't necessarily in our sphere to comment, and so we can discuss what's on their brain. And one of them is Eclectic Beard, because he's kind of awesome. He says you could move, but he needs to understand what's going on with this whole thing. So he's not in the sphere where he hears this. You could move 70% of the Midwest population to coastal areas and use the land for farming since it's no longer used for homes and feed 80% of the planet. And then I'm going to just continue. Back when the population was 4 billion, every person would have 100 foot of personal space. If all were placed in Rhode Island, intelligent use of resources is more the issue. Okay, I want you to, Jim Massa, you're the scientist on the panel. I want you to address that.
Well, the problem is you move people to the coast. In fact, actually, if you look worldwide, approximately 50% of the world's population live within 100 to 200 miles of a coastline.
Right. Most people already live on the coast.
Already. Now, if you throw in the issue of let's melt all the freaking ice sheets, which is happening, and then they start adding increasing sea level, not to mention the oceans this past year were the warmest ever. So now you have thermal expansion. So in addition to adding freshwater melt into the ocean, you have the thermal expansion of the waters itself that are increasing sea level. A lot of coastal areas are not going to be habitable.
Oh yeah, okay.
And not even to mention the bad weather that is happening there.
And not to mention that California is running out of fresh water.
True.
They're even talking about, desalinizing plants. What are you talking about moving 70 million people to the coast when they don't have fresh water?
Yeah, even Utah is trying to get fresh water shipped into Utah because our population is growing so much. Fresh water is a huge issue. I'm sorry, but everybody needs water to survive.
That's what it's going to be the next war fought over.
This is eco-reality. Okay, we need this is going to become a really big resounding reoccurring theme. Eco-reality. You need food, water, air, all of that to survive. So all the solutions that are just feeding people on
absolutely.
If you don't solve the biodiversity crisis, if you don't solve the water, the lack of fresh water, we not only need to have fresh water for ourselves, but we also need fresh water for the animals that share the planet with us, that we actually depend on second hand.
I've been saying for quite a few years, Christine, that the next war is going to be fought over fresh water.
It's already started. There's wars over water already starting in other countries.
And we're already seeing climate refugees. The Middle East, you talk about moving people. The Middle East, the models are indicating that by 2060, the latest, will be so intolerably hot that it will be uninhabitable. And people are going to leave the Middle East.
That's like 40 years away.
And where are you going to put them? What was that, Whitney?
Okay, electric.
That's crazy.
Beard. California is running out of fresh water because they don't allow the use of the reservoirs and aquifers. They also don't clear underbrush, which causes their fires. So California is in the league of their own.
That's kind of like made up excuses. Just made up, oh no, it would be fine, but they're not managing it right. The fact is they're out of water. It's a serious situation. There is, as Christine said, ecological reality. You're trying to force people into an ecological reality that doesn't work. We have to farm with oil to grow enough food. they've changed the waterways, the canals and stuff in California to irrigate the fields. Right.
Yeah, they've done that here too. They put a lot of the natural waterways underground to get all
But
the.
also another thing, we mentioned aquifer there. The problem is, I mean, look at the Midwest and the Plain states. The Oglala aquifer is basically depleted.
It's depleted.
And
the
agricultural practices have been sucking the aquifers dry, and the rainfall is insufficient to recharge the aquifers. And then when you throw on top of that, you have drought conditions like California's been having. Well, dry, hotter air can hold more moisture, and the moisture is going to be sucked out of the ground, to go into the atmosphere. Dry areas become drier.
And Jim, correct me if I'm right or wrong. Fresh water is only 2% in the world, and most of that is in glaciers.
That's right.
So there's a tiny amount of fresh water on the planet.
Isn't 25% of the fresh water in the Great Lakes? I don't know. Maybe
I forget the exact percent, but let's not forget Lake Baikal, which is an extremely deep lake, which actually holds more water than the Great Lakes combined.
Really? Where's that at? Russia?
Russia.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Eastern Russia.
Okay, go east.
It's a long from the air. It's long and thin, but it's deep. It's like a big crack in the earth that filled up.
Yeah, Tahoe's kind of like that, right? Lake Tahoe.
Hell if I know. I don't know. Okay.
For a moment, I thought you were talking about Lake Titicaca in South America, but never mind.
Okay, so let's see. Don't worry about all the Earth's water if we can buy it back, Jeremy. That's hilarious and kind of super funny. I would say bottle up, we can buy it back.
But here, see, you mentioned desal plants. Desal plant, you think, oh, great, you take the salt water, you remove the ions, and then you have potable water.
How much energy does that take?
Bingo! Bingo!
That's what always crosses my mind. What will it take to do what you're asking to do?
It is energy intensive.
That's why you have to pass everything through the ecological reality filter. Like, just get rid of all the carbon. We can get rid of all the carbon. We'll just suck all the carbon out of the air. Okay, so what is it going to take to do that? You have to go and build machines that are huge, by the way, and it's going to take a lot of fossil fuels to do that. And once you suck it out of, even if you're successful at that ginormous task, then what's going to happen as far as the biosphere? Okay, so you're allowing more humans to survive, which is only going to allow more biosphere to be destroyed. Because if you allow all the humans to survive, you're saving every life you possibly can. Then you're taking away from other natural habitats and everything. They need food, clothing, shelter, water, all of that. There's only so much to go around.
And
we can't keep every human. Right. So the logical thing to do is stop populating. But that's so hard to get through people's heads. It's like, I want babies. I love babies. I love babies. I love to squish their cheeks and give them back to their parent.
She loves babies.
I do love it. I like animal babies better. I like kitty babies and horse babies.
Human babies look like grubs.
They're not as cute as animal babies. I mean, God.
No, they're not.
There's a kitten baby, and then there's a human baby. It's like furry baby or lizard baby. I want this.
And then there are the adorable moose babies.
Oh, those are cute too. But the horsey babies are adorable, and kitty babies, and
most ungulate babies are cute.
Yes, furry babies are adorable. So yeah, there's that. But no, I mean seriously, it's not. I love babies. Even human babies. I kind of like, and for a minute, I think they're cute and stuff. But I just don't want them to suffer. I mean, think about the water shortages. Think about the food shortages. Think about the natural disasters that are coming our way. That's the biggest thing I think about with my two grandchildren. They're by marriage. My son none of my kids have kids. We have 6 between me and my husband. None of them have kids. None of them plan on having kids. So, I'm good there. But my son married a woman who has 2 boys, and so I have grandkids. And God, I think about their life, and it's heartbreaking to think what they're going to have to deal with. And I can't imagine making the decision at this point to bring another life on this planet, knowing what is coming. But the problem is the media and everybody is not informing people of what is happening because they're too busy thinking about the economy. You need more people in order to grow the economy. When you grow the economy, what you're doing is taking away from nature. So that doesn't fit in with ecological reality.
That's
Well, the
right.
mainstream media are also putting forth the propaganda bullshit of the corporations, and the corporations only give a shit about profits, and everything else be damned.
They need more consumers, so they want you to
Yep.
breed
Yeah.
more. They want you to have more babies.
Yeah, so we have two realities here. We have an ecological reality, which is nature. Nature is ecological reality where it works in symbiosis together. In fact, I came up with kind of definition, but I'll get to that later. And then we have a different reality, which is the global capitalist reality. Okay, and that's the reality that we all live in. Okay, the global capitalist consumer reality of which is not, it is not conducive, and also it doesn't mesh with the natural ecological reality, right, Chris? The
Yes.
ecological reality is what sustains this planet, and the global capitalist consumer reality is basically a road to perdition, a road to hell.
Mhm.
And that's the road that we're on now, unless we get back to an ecological reality.
Right.
And that's what we're going to call it. And ecological reality is natural law. Okay. I don't know if anybody is familiar with natural law. It's the concept that there are incontrovertible laws of nature that exist. Okay. That the carbon in the atmosphere, and that these laws should inform laws written by governments and societies. They preclude laws that we make up. We may decide, hey, we can move 70 million people to the coast. We can do this or that, but it's going against ecological reality. Ecological reality says no. Says no, you can't do that. Hey, there's a kid.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's a fur baby.
You had a good speech. You had a good thing going, and my cat.
Oh, but kitties and puppies. I have puppies and kitties.
Oh.
Puppies. I have mostly puppies laying down here, sleeping. But puppies and
And
kitties.
video bombed.
I'm sorry. Keep going. I was just.
Okay, let's see what the chat has to say, guys. So,
but that was well spoken. I was like writing that down. Like,
well,
I was in school.
I know I said this the other night, but I'll repeat it again for for folks who may not have been in the chat the other night. But when I was first receiving the emails about this topic, I thought, oh, I was being asked for a definition, so I came up with a definition.
I've got it here.
This is what I came up with. Ecological reality is objectively assessing the current state of the environment based on ecological principles of energy flow, i.e. through the trophic levels.
I actually read this email, believe it or not, because I haven't read a lot of emails lately, but I did read this one. Go ahead.
Biogeochemical recycling processes, for example, nutrient flow and return, as well as food webs, biomass, and carrying capacity. Ecological reality objectively examines, compares the current state of the environment and its divergence from natural balance homeostasis.
Yes.
So that's how I put it.
So
very well that dovetails nicely with Christine's point about, okay, this is what the actual situation is, looking at the degradation, biodiversity crisis, and then we know that they're bad because we then take that situation and compare it to what it should be.
Right.
Which is ecological reality, the fundamental basis of life on this planet.
Okay, Pink says human activities including mining, transportation, pollution, agriculture, development, and logging take habitat away from wild animals as well as kill animals directly. 100% thumbs up, Pink Barrio.
Pink Barrio. My man.
Yes, he
but Do remember, granted it's not on the scale, but do remember that humans are not the only organisms that alter the environment.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, obviously.
But as I said, but not on the scale that humans are doing.
Right.
Exactly.
You always have to look
beavers-
at things
Look at
on
what
the.
beavers do. Like beavers will alter their environment. They'll go
That's
in
exactly an
and
example I was thinking of.
they'll create a dam, but they created a new ecosystem. They don't destroy an ecosystem. When we
Well,
go
one could
in
make
there,
the argument that they ruined this ecosystem to create another one.
well, maybe
one got replaced by another. You can make that argument. That's semantics, what have you.
But their ecosystem
But-
includes many other species, and they actually add to the species and the biodiversity. Where when humans come in and make a dam, they're reducing the biodiversity and reducing
Absolutely.
the ability for other animals to survive.
Or Trump wants to put up his wall, which is going to fuck up the migration route for many organisms.
Yes, there's that. There is that. Oh my God! I don't. God,
and here's the other
don't
thing.
even get me on Trump.
Here's the other thing: when people when the company's doing logging and they say, "Well,
Or
we'll
Hillary,
leave these trees alone and take and clear cut here, but not here." When you start doing this patchwork, studies have shown that organisms who live in the forest, they will not cross that open area to get to the forest over there because they feel vulnerable because that's not their niche. So. So this patchwork,
fungus and all that needs
clear cutting and forests.
If
Let me
you
finish.
cut up,
let me finish. Let me finish, please.
Okay.
This patchwork of forests and cleared out areas is actually more detrimental and harmful to biodiversity.
Absolutely, because you're cutting off migrational patterns. You're also cutting off like natural ways that even like funguses and all that get through because they live under a canopy. If you cut off that canopy and it's exposed to sunlight, fungus can't grow. So fungus is actually a huge, underlying thing that needs that canopy.
It coexists.
Yes, we're ruining the
And when somebody tells you, yeah, we can clear cut these forests, send the wood in pellets to the UK where they burn the wood. Did you know that, Christine?
Yeah.
A lot of it that it's going against ecological reality. It's conflicting.
Well, anytime we're shipping in or shipping out goods that are resources, basically. Anytime we're shipping them in or shipping out, we're going against ecological reality. We should be living locally within what our locality will support.
Reality, yes.
If you're shipping from one place to another, some place is going to come up short, and it's going to usually be the poor people in some poor country that can't afford to, or doesn't have the means to support themselves, like all the land that they could use to grow stuff, or or to survive, like the natives in their natural environment. That is gone, and you're taking that away to ship all like palm oil, whatever, plantations, soybean plantations, all that. They're taking away natural ecospheres, and the natural people who live there, the natives that live there, they're taking away all ways for them to survive, and they're shipping it to another country. And we're doing the same thing here in the U.S. We're doing monoculture and shipping all the stuff that was grown with our water and fertilizers, chemical fertilizers that were mined, which I totally am against mining chemical fertilizers, things like that. We lost Whitney. What happened?
She's back. But Christine, this ecological reality is not consistent with the global capitalist system. That reality, they are not consistent.
Capitalism system does not work with nature.
The global capitalist system is strangling nature. It's like murder. Like you look at the Alberta tar sands, it's murdering. God. It's raping. The capitalism started off okay, I guess, with Adam Smith and Wealth of Nations and the Invisible
Man. I'm seeing that stuff happening all the time.
The problem with capitalism is twofold. One is that they make the assumption that resources are infinite. We know that's bullshit. Right. Bullshit. The second is that all that matters is growth.
Right.
Well, what do we call out of control growth in an organism?
Cancer.
Exactly. Capitalism is really a cancer on the planet, and in so doing, what the capitalists want to do, they do what? They exploit not just the resources, but they exploit people.
Yeah.
Right.
And they fuck them over. I'll give you an example. Let's say you go to work, you have an interview with some guy and says, okay, I'm going to hire you and I'll pay you $20 an hour. Right? Well, if he's paying you $20 an hour, then that means what? The value you are supplying to him is worth a hell of a lot more than $20 an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
You're being exploited. You think, oh, $20 an hour, that's a good hourly rate. No, you're being exploited because you're probably bringing them in $50 an hour.
Oh, at least that. Yes. At least that. But
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could go into stories about my company and how much I bring in. I mean, for fuck's sakes, I bring in so much to my company.
But you understand what I'm getting
at. Yeah. And I used to endanger my life to work at a mining company, mining salt. And oh
just
my
so
God.
they can make money.
Yeah. But you have to do something to make a living. You know what I mean? It's like we're stuck in this fucking system. Yeah, you can say, all right, just quit, quit the system. Where are you going to live? You're going to be a hopeless person in a tent on the street? I mean, I can't help anyone from that position. So, or anything. I can't.
It's time to look at things in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather not have this computer to talk on. I would rather not have to be here. I would rather turn all this electric shit off. But if I do, no one else is going to see the reality.
And nobody's going to look at this ecological reality that we're talking about. Ecological reality.
Yes. Okay, can we go through comments? Because there's a lot of comments and there's a lot of
good ones.
Christine. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, Basil Peterson, namaste. We evolved within nature for several thousand years and remained at a couple million people. Then we found oil, and within 500 years changed the entire planet. Nature says we have to go. Thank you, Basil.
Yeah.
That was very well stated. Okay, someone else pick a comment.
Anthony Davis, pandemics or climate change will compensate for population rising. Yeah, that's a good idea. Or starvation. War or some kind of...
well, we're to that point. That's going to happen.
Yeah. It's what's happening. Nature's let loose the coronavirus. That is part of nature as a way to contain an overgrowth of this species. So that's what I think is the.
Well, that's what.
Remember, in nature, negative feedback loops are corrective in nature.
Right.
They're corrective measures.
Yes. So we should welcome the negative feedback.
For an organism to maintain homeostasis, the body, controlled by the brain and hormonal endocrinology, right, releases hormones and other chemicals to counteract, basically putting negative controls to return the system to homeostasis. Well, if that happens within an organism, it also happens within ecosystems.
Exactly.
Did you know, Jim? Did you see?
Don't forget about comments. Don't.
Yeah, I'm not, but a lot of people may have seen this. There was a Star Trek episode, the original series, where this woman, they wanted the Star Trek crew to come to their planet to infect their planet with disease because they had eradicated disease and it was overpopulated.
Mark of Gideon.
Is that it?
That's the name of the episode, Mark of Gideon.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm
a Trekkie.
The daughter of the president of Gideon started an affair with Kirk, and she wanted him to make her sick, right?
Right. Yep. And then
she would infect the rest of the planet because the planet was overpopulated, and they
people were literally crammed.
They were literally crammed. And Star Trek did this in the 60s, was talking about overpopulation. Did you get that, Christine?
I'm sorry. You guys are ignoring the chatter, so I'm trying to. What did you say? Okay. I'm sorry, but you guys are ignoring the chatter, so I'm going to pay attention to the chatters.
Good idea. That's cool. But basically, Star Trek did an overpopulation thing in the 60s, where the population...
Well, remember Paul Ehrlich of Stanford put out a book in the 70s, Population Bomb.
Yeah.
And he was ridiculed. Well, he's been proven right.
Yes.
Okay, War is a Racket, William Martyr. Worst in bracket, especially when your secret societies are causing the wars and your banks are lending them the money to pay for it on both sides. It's those mofo Jesuits, IHS, Illuminati. Okay, there's SOJ. But yeah, I mean, definitely there's profit in war, and that's
Well, the
why they keep it
Rothschilds fund in
going.
the Russo-Japan War of 1906. The Rothschild, one brother funded Russia, the other funded Japan, and they just made money hand over fist.
Pink says this is so heavy. Welcome, Pink. We do this. I can't help it. Okay, Bio says I don't want to die. I want to live, but it's true. One way or another, things will change on this planet. Yeah, and I'm afraid everyone's gonna suffer. If people don't
You're definitely gonna go. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Just
no, you're good. It's that's the point.
no, we're just definitely gonna go over the 2 degrees Celsius mark.
And once
It's just a matter of when.
We're close, and we're already seeing devastating effects. So,
well, I just saw a report basically saying that trying to keep the temperature increase to 1.5 C or less ain't happening. Well, I've been saying that for how long on my video, on my channel? It ain't bloody happening.
How old are you, Whitney?
27.
See, this is so wrong because all of us here, except for you and Christine, are young people and people our age.
I'm not young.
Yes, you are.
Yes,
You're forever young. But Whitney, I'm sorry, Whitney. I'm really. I've tried myself.
It's not your fault. It's the damn corporations. It's all the misinformation. You know,
it is a lot of the misinformation. If people were informed, they wouldn't support the damn corporations that are doing.
Well, the problem is people. The system's so shitty. People have to work 3 jobs just to survive, so they can't be informed.
Yeah,
well,
they make it. We make a slave. They make us slave labor, so we don't have time to be informed.
Exactly.
And then they feed us propaganda, which was made legal, by the way, during Barack Obama's reign over the country, made it legal to propagandize our own citizens. So you don't know what information is true and what information is false.
That actually dates back to the Reagan years, but
no, but that was a recent one, a new, like when Barack Obama was they passed legislation to propagandize against our own civilians in this country. It was fine, and that's why all the CIA and FBI, all those people are being infiltrated into the media. They're being hired by CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all that to be affiliates and specialists and come on and talk about these issues, and they're paid to lie. They're paid to lie. So we are not getting the truth from those major media. So, and then people like Julian Assange, who puts out the truth, are being condemned and imprisoned. Chelsea Manning, Edward Snowden.
Look what Brazil just did to Glenn Greenwald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he dare point out the corruption of the Bolsonaro government, and they're basically charging him with shit.
I know. It's just like truth tellers are being like condemned. They're being brought charges against and all that, and people aren't seeing it, but they're being propagandized. They're not seeing the truth, and it's kind of important to see the truth.
Well, remember about 15 years ago, the journalist Michael Hastings?
Okay. I wasn't awake back then. I was just surviving.
He was a journalist in the vein of Glenn Greenwald, doing investigative reporting, getting the bullshit out there. And one night he just dies in a car crash.
Yeah.
A fiery car crash was supposed to be doing 80 down the street of a neighborhood.
There's
the brand new Mercedes
everywhere.
Yeah, that's.
But they're basically they basically said that the deep state took control of his car remotely.
Yeah,
and they crashed him. That's what they're saying. I don't know.
I don't know either, but
we got to get back to comments. So finish up your thought, Jim. Then let's get back to comments.
Well, basically what Whitney said earlier, and I've been saying this as well on my in my video segment, is that there will be corrective measures, be it war, pestilence, disease, starvation, what have you, but human numbers are going to come crashing down.
Yes,
That's
agree with you.
that's ecological reality.
It
That
is
is.
ecological reality.
That's ecological reality.
Okay, quickly, when I've heard people say that, like people, yeah, they say that once it gets to a certain point, it's going to naturally go down, but they're thinking that it's going to go down like people are just going to, you know,
Incrementally.
and it's incrementally no suffering.
Yes.
But when it happens, when the crash happens, it's going to be a lot of suffering.
Hundreds
going
of
off the
thousands.
cliff.
Yeah, it's going to be horrible. Okay, guys, all of you pick a comment to read. So,
Tanya Delaney
started the first advertisement. True. Okay.
What'd she say?
Go ahead.
I saw Eclectic Beards. The propaganda started with the first advertising. There's actually a documentary about how advertising started, and it is a big, huge thing because that's like consumerism. Like they program your brain to consume everything you possibly can, and you just need this, need this, need this. So that's a really good point, actually. Go ahead. I'm trying to read through the comments, but I have really
Vanessa
bad
Kitty says you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
True that.
Gars coronavirus has only killed Chinese, so that's the issue. You guys want to talk about?
Did you see the video that they had a guy who just killed over and dropped with the coronavirus?
No, I didn't.
He just dropped face first.
I've been living under a rock the last week.
Yeah,
Anthony says we need vitamins to replace what we fail to get every day in our diet. 1 month's supply of organically green juice powder is about $75. It costs a lot to get to proper nutrition these days. Well, yeah, I mean, unless you're growing organically with compost instead of chemical fertilizers, and you have the natural organisms that were meant to be, in that ecosystem.
That is part of ecological reality.
Yes.
Natural organisms in ecological reality. Of course. And everyone should watch the doc, Century of the Self, Basil Peterson.
Yes. Okay. Hey, we have a new person. Cheryl Van Epps.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl.
Help stay sane. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. And Kim Centeno. I'm going to say her name right from now on. Centeno. I don't know why I always put an R in there. Tanya, because they're picky. Wait. Oh my God, just jumped. His not his 20th day. Awesome.
Kim Centro said 4 states in China are confined. Okay.
Yeah,
that's a lot of people.
They're building a huge hospital like in 6 days just for this. I saw that on the news.
40 million in lockdown, 13 counties with virus patients.
Wow.
CBS.
Okay,
40 million in lockdown.
Side rather than this is Tanya. Seeing the truth is in the middle. Julian Assange has to be protected just as much as the whistleblower and Trump's administration. Two sides of the same coin. Okay, I'm still pondering the whistleblower and the Trump administration. Just because, I don't know, the whistle. I mean, it's good but why isn't he out? Like, why didn't he publish to WikiLeaks or publish it?
Right.
Exactly, I don't know. I'm like, that's. I do believe Trump should be impeached, okay, but I don't think he should be impeached for the same reason.
Well, Trump has already been impeached.
Well, through the House, it hasn't gone.
But he has to be convicted.
He won't be convicted through the Senate.
He won't be. No.
I believe.
So it's just a dramatic waste of time and energy when we should be focusing on other things.
And taking Bernie off the campaign trail.
But they won't impeach him for things that are important because they are guilty of the same things and they would be implicated in those same damn crimes. So they're not going to. And it's both on the left and it's on the right.
And when Christine starts pointing, don't fuck with her.
Oh my God, I forgot to use my knuckle point.
Yeah. She starts pointing.
I don't mean to offend.
That finger.
I don't mean to offend.
Bam, 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 motherfucker.
Okay. Anyway, I'm so happy Gazar is here because he's missed so many shows because he's had computer problems and stuff and things. And CB Ungsley is here. I don't think I gave him a shout out loud. Um, Chelsea Manning is still in prison. Yeah, did you know Chelsea Manning's still in
I
prison
can't believe that.
because she will not testify against Julian Assange or make up stories about him. I think it's just because she won't lie about him. She will only tell the truth and she won't implicate him, and that's why they're keeping her, which is bullshit. Fucking bullshit. No,
What
under
happened?
the best 2020 pink
Come on
card.
back, Jim. Must be
Karen redacted a message. I don't.
I think a jackalope ate Jim's internet.
Oh, Om's here too. Oh my gosh, hello, Om. Demographers, sorry, and futurists still. It's jumping.
What's it
Still
saying?
talking about 10 billion plus people, interstellar travel, Jetsons, personalized flying crafts, and vertical farms feeding the world's buckling population.
And your capitalistic delusional fantasies.
Yeah, okay.
Capitalistic delusional fantasies.
Okay, I'm coming in late with a very, very eco-reality comment going on right there. Thank you, for that.
Thank you.
Let's see. Trump
Have you got another one, Whitney?
It's all you got. Wait, another story?
Oh, Blake is gonna go live too. So
we don't want to.
A comment. Sorry, hold on.
Yeah, we're reading comments, but Blake's gonna be going live here shortly. Probably, I'm thinking 6:30 if he's getting ready to go, or 7. But Sandy's going live too, so you're gonna have to split the difference.
Yeah.
It's Blake or Sandy. Damn it.
Absolutely. Hello, Jim. I thought a jackalope got you, man. A jackalope eats your internet.
William Martyr, what we get to see though is a lot of incriminating. I can never pronounce that word. Jesuit, whatever. Theater.
Bernie is going to be cheated.
Jesuit.
Why
the Jesuits is the Marines of the Catholic priest.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't know religion shit. Okay,
they're like the SEALs.
Not least of all, the prayer that opens each day. Creepy Jesuits reminding everyone of their Jesuit blood.
Yeah,
loyalty, arm twisting. I'm sorry, but religions are creepy to me. They just are. I'm sorry. Yeah. They're just. But I was raised around Mormons, and Mormons are fucking creepy when you find out what they believe.
Absolutely.
They're creepy. Creepy.
The best book about pointing out the, shall we say, the shortcomings of religion is The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins.
Yes.
Excellent.
I love Richard. I love him.
I probably love that. I watch Mr. Atheist because I think he's hilarious. He's an ex-Mormon, and it makes me feel good because I kind of finally get to understand Mormonism because I'm kind of an outsider, even though my whole family is. I've never been, never been baptized, never really went and stuff, but I've always been screwed by the Mormon. They were so mean, just so mean. So I just wanted to find out what was going on.
They're too crazy for even you.
Yeah, they're, oh my God, they're just mean. I can't say anything else, but they're just fucking mean. Mormons are mean.
Yeah, the Mormons need to get with the program, Christine. They need to get with ecological reality and stop this shit with ports and.
There's no such thing as ecological reality in the Mormon verse.
Well,
it's all about babies. Have as many babies as you can pump out of your body.
Christine, is walk up to these Mormons and bitch slap them. Bitch slap these motherfuckers and say, ecological reality, bitch. Wake the fuck up.
Well, I like what George Carlin said about religion. He said, well, I grew up being religion because kids are, exposed and they have no choice in the matter. He said, when I was about 12, I started realizing things didn't seem to add up. And I started engaging in something called thinking.
Yeah, imagine thinking.
Imagine thinking. Ooh, what a concept.
I was an altar boy. I was an altar boy in the Catholic Church, and I was robbing the collections. and everybody was, the other altar boys are telling me, you're going to go to hell.
Okay.
I'm not going to go to hell. Fuck that.
He's gonna love this.
Made money.
I said,
the motherfuckers are stupid enough to put money in the collection. I'm going to take it and go buy some comic books.
Okay, I gotta show you guys this. So hold on. This is Sam Mitchell's Humpty Dumpty tribe thingy. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna play this.
There.
Hopefully you can hear it. Hold on. What's going on? Is it playing? Welcome to the world. Yeah. The end of the world as we know it. It's so great.
Yeah, it's so great.
No, I mean it's Sam. He does this video and I don't know if I can't hear it. Why can't I hear it? What the fuck?
Not playing yet.
Why isn't it playing?
Did you hit share?
Wait, that's not the right one. What the fuck happened to it?
Okay, it's playing now. Yeah.
Well,
welcome to the end of the world.
Now it's not. It's something else.
Well, what Jim was saying with the Middle East, there's going to be uninhabitable by 2060, Jim, or something like that time.
Yes, some of the projections of because it's just going to get so hot there. They're actually talking sustained temperatures of 120 Fahrenheit, 130 Fahrenheit, which is not inhabitable. So that's going to create a massive climate refugee situation.
I don't think you guys can hear it, can you?
No. What did you say that temperature was, Jim?
About 120 to over 130 degrees Fahrenheit.
Which is like,
that's the projection.
Watch this. It's hilarious. Like, it's just like shopping for babies and shit.
It's playing.
It is playing right now.
Yeah, it's playing.
But you can't hear it. You can't hear it.
Great tits.
It's a really good video though. Welcome to the end of the world as we know it. It's a really good video, but I don't know how to get the sound on. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, just tell them what the link is. It's Collapse Chronicles.
Yeah, no, it's Humpty Dumpty Tribe.
Humpty Dumpty Tribe. I'm gonna catch it because that chick's got some.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, whatever.
It's good though.
An animated cartoon.
Welcome to the end of the world as we know it.
Humpty Dumpty
Tribe.
Capitalist.
It's really good because he does this interview and then he does this video with this chick that's going and buying sperm and eggs and stuff and gathering up babies and then she's pooping babies everywhere and oh my god, it just and then in between the interview and that it's oh my god, it's I don't know. It's terrible but good.
Okay, we're thank you, Lucy.
I love Sam's egg donor gals story site. I would like to think that I can expose the Jesuits. How do you say that? Jesuits, and still have Catholic friends on my side. Well, I'd like to think that I still have Mormon friends on my side when I expose how horrible Mormons are. But who knows? I do have friends that are Mormons. I just don't torture them all the time. I do argue with them, but you got
to take the crazy
Mormons are one letter away from being morons.
That's true. That's true. That's why they want to be called
Latter-day Saints.
Yeah. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You have to say the Jesus part. Or they don't count. Middle East will be at those temperatures earlier, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on in the Middle East, and there's already climate refugees from the Middle East. I mean, and now there's going to be Africa, and, even parts of the U.S. have climate refugees. So, yeah.
Not to mention refugees created by us bombing the shit out of everywhere.
Well, yeah, that certainly doesn't help. Okay.
That's that right.
Oh, Environmental Coffee House is going. She's going to be on in a half an hour, guys. So
yeah, so we better shut it down.
Yeah, we got to get going. Did we miss saying hi? Any more comments? Yeah, 10,000 dead. What? Who's saying 10,000 dead? I don't know. I'm missing something.
He's saying 100,000's dead. I don't know. That's Torstein.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what he's referring to.
They love the
it's not good.
The U.S. Just like the KKK, which means that they're rubbing elbows with
Jesuits.
By osmosis. Okay. Don't make me say that word anymore, William. Damn it. The Babocene. The Babyocene. Oh, I
The
love that.
Babyocene.
I don't do dogs. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. What? I went to high school in Arizona with Mormons, and wow, they are strict. They're crazy. They're not just strict. They're just freaking nuts. I'm sorry. They are. Their beliefs are just so messed up. Like
They're riding the crazy train. The
they
choo choo
believe
crazy train.
men
Ah,
always rule over women. Like if
crazy
you're,
train. Cue up Ozzy.
I'm
Yeah.
not a huge
Cue Ozzy.
feminist, but
Crazy train.
okay, whatever. Just keep talking over me. It's cool. Um, plenty of climate refugees from Australia heading to New Zealand. Yeah, I bet New Zealand's going to be wow.
Yeah.
And that's where my daughter is. For fuck's sake! Oh my god. I just have Catholics believe in their own God and my God that I believe into. I'm a Buddhist. I love Buddhism. Buddhism's the best. If you're gonna have it's not really religion, it's a philosophy, but that's the best one because it allows for science and stuff and things. So yay. Um,
and to put a happy note on it, it was Oppenheimer quoting the Bhagavad Gita saying,
wow.
I have become death, destroyer of worlds. I thought I'd put a happy note on it.
There you go. Cheryl Van Epps, my neighbors are Mormons. They tried to buy property and set up a city in Vermont. The town shut that down. Good. There's so many Mormon places and like
Utah,
polygamous villages, and I grew up around polygamists. Like I was surrounded by like 4 families of polygamists where I grew up.
well, it kind of makes sense in a way.
Why?
Well, I mean, it just makes sense to me.
Okay, well, as long as it makes sense to you, I don't know. I don't know. The polygamists I grew up around were really, I mean, I had a good time with them. We had fun. I mean, they were partiers. They weren't like the serious, strict no alcohol or they made their own alcohol. They played poker on the weekends, and I used to ride my horse up to their place, and they had this big poker party going on and things. And yeah, they weren't the same as I like them better than the Mormons. A lot better.
I bet.
I don't know. Anyway, okay, say goodbye to everybody because we got to get out of here because Sandy's going to be starting and Blake TV is going to be starting.
Yeah, tell them that there's going to be no show on Monday.
Oh yeah, yes, no show Monday. But I'm going to have another Freak Out Friday. No show Wednesday because my job is freaking crazy. So plan on Friday. I'm going to try and do it at 5 again. 5, but if not 5:30, I don't know. You just never know what's going to happen. I'm going to have to be in Pocatello on Thursday, so I don't know what time or when I'm going to be back.
So if you want to see her, go to Pocatello. She'll be there.
I'll be at the Home Depot.
Home Cheapo?
Yeah, the Home Depot.
She'll be
or Home Despot.
Home Depot.
Yeah, Home Despot. That's where they go. Ciao. Okay, Ken Deal, Anthony Davis, Karen Davis, or no, Karen Peterson. Oh my God, I'm mixing up 2 people. Gazar, so nice to see you again in the chat. Kim Centeno, Zox. I don't know if I said you out loud. Torstein, of course. I know there's lots of conversations going on there, but Cheryl Van Epps, thank you and welcome. Brand new person in the chat. Bio, William Martyr. Always love it when you're here. I know Blake TV's gone. Bio, thank you for coming. You missed the last 2 shows for that, but that's okay. We love you anyway. Basil Peterson, Karen Peterson, all you wonderful people. I'm sure I've missed people. Is there anyone that you can see that I missed right off the bat?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay, so like it on your way out if you can. If you have not liked it, please like it. It helps. Helps the biz. Okay. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, there's a long story going on after this, but I'm gonna do it. All right, guys. I am going to. Shit. Sorry, I should have had this organized sooner. All right, guys. Love you all. We will talk to you soon. Say bye, guys. Thank you so very much, Whitney. Thank you very much, Jim
Bye.
Massa.
Thank you.
Go see Progressive Weather, Science Talk with Jim Massa, and Valhalla 5-6. If you want to see their channels.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah, probably not a good idea, Valhalla. But the other two, yes, do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Love y'all. Have a very good night, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.